Oh, didn't see you there. Welcome, everybody, to Uneducation Station, the station of which uneducation happens. I'm with Zach.
Hi.
And we are starting off the rails because we don't have any rails. How are you, Zach, today?
I'm doing good, dude.
That's good.
Yeah.
I'm tired. Really tired. I went to bed at 6 a.m. doing all sorts of things because I'm trying to be a busy boy. And I try to get a schedule for myself. Let's go. Schedule. Reminders app. Let's do this. And then, I explained it. I got my flu shot. And while it didn't make my arm necessarily, it made it sore because it's just what happens. But I just got super tired. I don't know if it's because of the flu shot. I don't think a shot makes you tired. I think that's...
some of them do.
But I was just like, man. Or maybe it wasn't that I was tired. It was just that my arm was sore and my motivation just went towards, okay, I'm just going to sleep it off. Maybe subconsciously, that's just what happened. Yeah. But I did. And then I woke up and like 5 hours later, I'm like, what the fuck? Okay, maybe not 5 hours, like 3-4 hours. And then I went to my grandma's house and I came back home at like 12 in the morning. I'm like, man. Gay dawn, Zach. Day gone. And I was like, you know what? The day is not gone. I'm going to keep working. So I kept working and now I'm tired. I'm sleepy boy. But it's okay because I have Gafuel, which will keep me up.
Yes. Yeah, I went to bed at like 10.
Good for you, Zach. Jeez. I'm sure that's very good for you.
You know, it is very good for me because...
It is good for you. Good for you.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm glad you put the poster behind you back up, by the way. I totally forgot to do that.
Oh, it's totally fine.
Nobody knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah, nobody knows
what I'm talking about.
Audio listeners are always going to be perpetually confused.
Visual listeners are confused by that one.
Because to your guys' eyes, nothing moved, but lots of things moved. Lots of things. What are we talking about?
Eyes.
What?
You and I have eyes. Dude, you know what I watched last night?
Huh.
I just explained to you. I watched the Bo Burnham Inside thing.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my gosh. Listen, the fact that the single man shot, edited, directed, filmed, that's the same thing as shot, acted his entire thing inside by himself with Final Cut Pro and a Lumix G9, I think. Or GH5 or something. GH9. Dude. That was... I haven't watched probably as many movies as the average person. I feel like I don't... Because growing up, we never really... Growing up, we never really watched movies. We did, but we never really went out to watch movies very much.
Yeah.
For whatever reason that may be. I don't know. Time, financial, whatever that may be. So unfortunately, I'm not a very cultured kid when it comes to cinema. But I gotta say, Zach, as someone who has watched a couple of movies here and there, Zach, and has done a couple edits here and there, you know, for a couple of days, I think. I've been editing for a little bit, you know.
Yeah.
A couple weeks or so. Been around the block. Guy like me.
As one might.
You know, I sat there and watched it and I was like, dude, this is probably like one of the most stunning cinematic direction I've ever seen in my life.
And okay.
Purely just by angles, lens play. That's a weird phrase. I don't know why I called it that. Lighting, of course. And just, I think lighting and color grading was my number one favorite thing. Because the way he color graded it made it so cinematic in a way that wasn't. In a way that was formatted just as if it was a YouTube video. But the way it was color graded, and of course, just everything, of course. But for me, color grading stood out to me more because one, now that I've learned Lightroom, I'm more into it. Two, after color grading my own content for, I don't know, a couple weeks or so, been around the block, up your butt and around the corner.
Through a tube and out your boob. Yeah, I totally get what you're saying.
That was cool. But of course, you know, the lighting and stuff. Dude, I feel like, so man, I don't know if this is gonna be a Bo Burnham episode.
Can it please be a Bo Burnham
If
episode?
you really wanted to, we'll start from there just to kind of shoot in the dark. I don't know. I just wanted. I will finish watching it, Zach. And for those who don't know, Bo Burnham, he's a at first YouTuber, then comedian, then director, and he's made a couple specials. I feel like most people, if not have seen them, definitely know him because of the way he is really good at presenting his name. So, what are his others? It's been so long. His other specials, they're all on Netflix. They're all Netflix specials. The first one was...
So
you go ahead.
He's had 4 different comedy specials.
4? Wait, have I seen? No, wait, hold on. Go name them. So if I remember.
So there's Words.
Yes.
What?
Yes.
Make Happy.
Yes.
And then Inside.
Okay, yeah, I've seen. Yeah, you're right. There were 4.
And I've seen every single one of them essentially like right after they came out.
Yeah, you've been a bigger fan of Bo Burnham than I have. I didn't watch Bo Burnham until literally remember the ASL show when our buddies, I can't remember their names, I'm sorry, unless you do. It's been a very long time, but they did a I guess it's been a while since we explained the ASL show, like episode like 1 or 2, so I guess I'll explain it again. But if you don't know, ASL, American Sign Language, we both, Zach and I, took that in high school and we took it together, and we did something in that, I guess it might have only been our class, but just a thing, kind of like a variety show. It's called the ASL show, where we get songs and then we perform them through sign language. And it's not necessarily like it can be just like a singing, if you will, performance, where it's just us on the stage. It's more of a theatrical performance. There's things happening. There's props. There's acting and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's more of like a theatrical performance, if you will.
Yeah.
And that was
Arthur stepped on my face.
I did step on your face. I feel like I really want to find a clip of that and put it on, but I don't know.
Dude. Okay. So when they did, it's left brain, right brain.
Yeah, left brain, right brain from what?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm, from Bo Burnham singing. Yeah, that was my first time finding out who Bo Burnham was.
Dude, and it's so funny because I'm actually good friends with Kiri still. Like, I still talk to her. I saw her the other day.
Kiri, our ASL teacher.
Yeah. So it was so funny. I was talking to her not that long ago about that song, and she was like, he gave me the lyrics, and immediately I was like, no, this isn't happening. Brady was the name of one of the
Brady,
guys.
that's right. Yeah. Brady.
He was like, don't worry, I'll edit it down, all this kind of stuff. And then they ended up turning it into what we ended up seeing on stage. And it was obviously heavily edited.
Oh, yeah. Very edited.
But yeah, it was definitely one of those performances where it was just kind of like, it was one of my favorite ones.
Yeah, no, it's all good. No worries. So it was at this point where I was like, wow. First of all, their performance was really good. Like I think among our year, I don't know if I yes, what is it? You have an input. Go ahead.
I was doing this, by the way. So I have to say, one of the things that I really loved about their performance is they really described and embodied the physicality of what that kind of conversation would look like inside of someone's brain. So it's basically, if you haven't heard the song, it's about the analytical and emotional sides of Bo's brain fighting with each other and trying to come to some sort of resolution over something. Who knows? All we know is, I like Oreos and pussy.
Oh my God, it's way too long. Holy moly.
Yeah, but they did a really, really good job because they had someone in the middle who was playing the character of Bo. And basically they were just fighting with each other. And it's so funny. Connor, you remember Connor, right?
Yes. It was him, wasn't it?
It was him. He was the one who was the person whose brain they were fighting with. So that was really cool. But
even in this show, like the lighting is just so cool. The way he changes from, I mean, it's so simple, but like the using a blue spotlight to a red spotlight to signify different types of emotions, or even using a bunch of them. I think the way, oh man, silhouette light. I don't think silhouette. The opposite of silhouette lighting, I guess. I don't know if there's a correct term for it, but having, and it's kind of the same idea that I've explained multiple times with black space and negative space, right? Where when there is just darkness, the eye kind of doesn't perceive it because of high contrast. You look towards the highlights.
Yeah.
So because of that, your eye is so focused on like this picture, where it's just him being red. And when it drastically changes, your brain. I mean, I might be speaking out of my ass, but it's just things that I've noticed as an editor for so long, and I noticed this particularly when I was watching his inside, because lighting played a huge role in that, and the way how much. I mean, the reason why I say that is because, I mean, he even shows a bunch of like meta fourth wally type stuff of his lighting and showing his lighting and how he does it and stuff. But even then, it still makes that crazy illusion. So then when he punches in closer, it changes the effects of what you're seeing so dramatically. And even then, I mean, I don't think I would have to pull up Netflix and then I doubt there's like clips of that on YouTube. I doubt, maybe, I don't know, probably not. I don't know.
Not.
You should watch it though. But there was like one scene in particular where it was just like, I mean, you can try. There was one scene in particular where it was like he had the lights, he had his angle, he had his camera really far down the hallway, so you can see his lights in his setup. But because of the lighting he had, the stands and the light itself were just murdered. They were just black. You couldn't see him. So what that did was create a like this illusion where it's there, and it seems like in real life it would be like if I had this light I had right here poking through the my angle, you'd be like, bro, you hide your light better, You can obviously see it. Is it? No, not that. It was like red, but this is a good one. It was like that would be a film error, that would be, hey, your boom arm is hanging down in the shot, your light, you're showing your light, that's a reshoot, that's a whatever. But you see that, but it's done in such a way where everything is black. The only highlight there is red, like it's just sharp red against him and the wall behind him. So you just block it out of your subconscious.
Yeah.
You block out all the lights because they're just, oh gosh, I wish I could find something. I wish I could, okay, imagine like, oh, that's not it. Imagine, see, in this way, garage is opening right now. You can't tell. Oh gosh, I wonder.
So what I did is I went to their YouTube channel. Like Bo's YouTube channel, yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to watch like a re-upload. Okay, let's say imagine just as a picture, Oh gosh, no, this would be the opposite. Okay, well, even the mic stand itself, right? Because it's such a high contrast of a white and a black, but the microphone is black, you kind of just don't really. This is a terrible example I'm trying to point because I need that one picture. Oh, fuck. Okay, anyways, whatever. Fucking whatever, Zach. Okay, so because, I mean, that's the reason why I have a pink cable right here, so that kind of defeats my purpose, but that's just more for fun. But why I prefer to have black microphones and black mic stands and stuff. Right. It's because black, the color itself, or the shade, I don't know, it gets blocked out subconsciously because it's nothing, and that's why we have black bars. That's why when you have a LCD screen versus an OLED screen, you notice a difference because if you don't know, LCD they have, or LED LCD screen, LCD technology, they have lighting zones and they have local dimming. So that's why when it's but the lights are always active, it just dims itself. So that's why, super bare bones. Don't yell at me. I know what it is. Don't worry. I've watched a ton of Linus Tech Tip videos. Because of that, when it's if you're looking at a black picture, a black screen, and the light and the screen is still on, but the content itself is black, you could still see that it's not just black. There's a light. It's emitted, and you can see that, and there might be a light zone around and stuff. OLED, the pixels itself turn off because it's able to do that. So it's true black. There's no light there. It's just black. So what that does is make your brain block it out more. But you still, even if with an LCD screen, I mean, I watched it on my phone. My phone has an LCD screen. It's like 720p, Zach. And but that's besides the point. I still was able to make that separation between what to focus on, what not to focus on, it's purely because it was just black, and everything else, all the lighting, was directed towards what he wanted you to look at. And there would be shots of him like in this corner of the screen, and everything else is blacked out. But he is very, 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 very lightly omitted by just like a lamp or something like that. And that warm light is enough contrast to push you towards this side of the screen, of which then if he wants to cut to a next shot, your eye is already situated in this angle. So what he did and what was so brilliant about it, and it's such a simple concept if you take film classes at all, but it's so powerful, or even design classes for that matter, where to lead the audience's eye to where you want it to be and how to do so. The way he did it was with lighting. And I found that so cool. And after I finished watching it, Zach, I just like, I turned on, I watched it at like 1 or 2 in the morning with my phone, curled up in my blanket, lights off in my room. And I finished watching it, and I went up and I turned on my lamp, and I was like, fuck, dude, I do not see anything the same. Everything I'm looking at looks like the special, the way he shot it. I was like, dude, what is happening? This is such a weird effect going on right now. Because I'm looking around, dude, because not only was his camera super fucking sharp, but the way he color graded it felt so natural that I'm just like looking around as if that was his camera. But it's because, Zach, and now we move from, I guess, the way he filmed it to the actual meat and potatoes and the concept of it. You know, he trapped himself in that room for a year or so.
Over a
year, and you kind of are stuck with him, and not necessarily stuck with him, but you kind of watch him. Well, I mean, we can get into that more, but what I'm trying to get at is that you're with him this entire ride, this entire time. So your eyes are so used to what he's showing you, and your eyes used to, I mean, let's say, for example, I have my phone, and I have a really, the classic example, I have a white, it's just turn off. It's just a black screen, and it's just a white circle, super white. You stare at it for like 20 minutes, and then if I look it away, you could see that, if you blink really hard, you can still see it, Same thing if I just stare at that light for a little bit, burn my retinas a little bit. I look over to you and I still see like this weird thing. That kind of idea where you look at something for so long and it's burned, not necessarily into your retina like I just did right there, but into your brain, so that's all you were perceiving, looking at. I had my lights off. I wasn't thinking about anything. I put do not disturb on because iOS 15 has a actually functioning do not disturb now.
Hell yeah.
So that's nice. Now I literally didn't get any notifications. I blocked myself out. This was the only thing I was focusing on. All my senses were directed towards this. So when it was gone and I looked around, I still had that ambiance, that feeling, that the feeling, the fact that it's as if I'm looking through a freaking camera lens right now, Zach. A really, really, really sharp camera lens in like 32K. What is going on? Because I am still in this kind of world that Bo painted.
Yeah.
Still. And I'm still trying to comprehend it because it was a fucking roller coaster.
So
what do you want to say, Zach? I feel like I've blabbed on for a lot. What do you want to say about it as a fan for longer than me?
So there are a lot of things to kind of unpack when you first watch the show, because not only is it conceptually a really, really cool, amazing thing, like he so perfectly encapsulated the idea of being inside and not being able to go anywhere and not being able to do anything, and you're just stuck at home alone by yourself. Like, not only did he do that beautifully, but he did it in such a way to where it was so artistic, and it's just like all of the shots in this are just so good. Like here at the bottom row, second to the right, That one. I fucking love that shot. And if you don't really know that, that is a video of him in 2006 on YouTube.
Yeah.
And so, you know, you look at all of these really, really artistic shots. You look at how he was able to use his cinematography skills and his lighting and his sound design and everything like that to be able to convey this story so much better. And the gear that he was using was not that expensive. Like,
yeah, man.
Like he was using, you know, like $20 lights. He bought a projector and just like he bought a disco ball off Amazon. You know, it was just like a lot of bare bones, just kind of like experimentation, because, you know, that's kind of,
It was definitely a approach of using what you have. And I mean, obviously a really expensive camera helps. But Zach, that's an expensive camera you can buy off of Best Buy, off the shelf.
or Amazon.
Or Amazon. Jeff Bezos. Our God and Savior. You know? Like, I am amazed because okay, and then I go back to filmmaking mode. I'm sorry, but the way that he was able to capture this, and I'm very familiar with, like, I looked at his camera. I didn't look it up, but you know, he showed shots of his camera. It looks like a GH like 9 or 9X or something like that, a Panasonic Lumix camera. I'm very familiar with how getting that type of look from the Lumix line, because they're really good at doing that. More so than, dare I say, a Sony or a Canon. For some reason, they just have that distinct ability to produce a cinematic look if you can do it right.
If I can add something really quick.
Go ahead.
So one thing that I absolutely love about Fuji and Lumix and, you know, Panasonic, they have a really, really good color science when it comes to cinematic.
Yes.
Like my buddy Ben has a Fuji X-T3, and the stuff that he can get on that thing, it's just absolutely insane. But I agree with you. You're totally right. And even on my R6, you know, it could be difficult to replicate those types of shots. But he made it look so organic until he wanted it to not look organic anymore. You know, like, do you remember the song How the World Works? So he made it look like he was on a kids show, you know, like with the
sock and the light and the striped shirt and the yeah, it really was like that. But oh my, it's kind of like the same idea that I've been trying to make into this room, changing the way, because this is just a bland. I mean, this is a room. It's not even painted white. It's painted like a weird, gross yellow color, and two of the walls aren't even the same shade of yellow.
Yeah,
you know. But I've always wanted to try and find a way to change that without having to paint it. And the way you would do that is with lighting. And not to the extent that he has, of course, because his is much more dramatic, but I was able to accomplish that with like these floodlights that we have lying around, you know? I mean, you no longer can tell that this is a yellow wall. You can no longer tell that this wall is like piss yellow anymore compared to this wall that is puke yellow.
Yeah.
I mean, this one a little bit, well, that's more, but now what happens is it looks like it's orange because of your light. Like it looks like just like a white wall with orange bounced off of it, you know?
Yeah.
It's that type of thing where finding a way to use one setting, but being able to change it into different types of settings is a really cool and very smart technique if you're able to pull it off, and he did that very well. But getting back to the whole like shooting with Lumix and stuff, I mean, I have a G7, I use it as my webcam, and I had a kit lens, and I was like, well, actually no, that's a lie. I was ecstatic about it because I went from a Logitech C920 to that. You know what I mean?
Right.
And frankly, everybody should just do that. Why? Or if you're looking into buying the 4K Logic Brio, dude, just buy a Lumix G7 and a $20 capture card, you know?
Dude, I promise you the 1080p that you'll get out of that camera is probably going to be better than any 4K that you'll get out of a webcam. Like
that, Zach, with a Chinese capture card, limited to 720p, and that 720p is better than any 1080p you'll get out of that 4K webcam.
Fair enough.
Elgato launched a face cam, the webcam. Did you see that?
Oh, yeah.
The face cam is $200 for 1080p 60. I think it's 1080p 60. I don't care what resolution, what frame rate it is. It's a webcam.
Right.
You can buy a GoPro and a Chinese capture card for less of the price. I mean, no, actually, yeah, that would look way better because you can buy, I think, 4K GoPros. Like, I was looking at it because we were thinking about getting a GoPro for this set, and we still might, but for another angle. And I was looking at like a Hero 4 or 5, which is the ones I was looking at because before it just gets kind of too old. 4 or 5, you at least get like a usable interface, I think, and they're like less than $200. And then you pair that with like with one of the trusty dusty Chinese capture cards, and bro,
you're golden.
You're golden. You have a much better picture, and it's that idea of thinking outside the box to make something. Because if he didn't show his camera, you would think he shot it with a cinema camera of some sort, you know?
Yeah,
like a C9 or whatever the fuck they're called. I just said a letter and a number, honestly. But if I didn't say that, if I didn't use that if I didn't say that afterwards, someone would have been like, yeah, that sounds like a cinema camera. I don't know.
Canon C200.
That's what I was looking for. I should have used a bigger number.
Yeah.
Canon Z5400. Whoa, that's a cinema camera. Model numbers. But he didn't. He used off-the-shelf shit, you know?
Yeah.
And that's why I respect Lumix so much, because the way they have that. Because I remember before I bought my Canon, my Mark II, or M6 Mark II, that is, I actually did enjoy shooting with my Lumix because I enjoyed the type of picture I got. And it was always different from whenever you would come and bring your 70D to shoot, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And it's not that I disliked your 70D, but they were different. And I knew they were different. Not just because of color science, it's because of something else. And I realized it's just the way, color science too, but this is the way, the type of pictures they put, and the type of pictures that you're able to produce from them can, like, it was here. I saw it. It was when he was like sleeping or some shit. Where is it? Hold on, guys. Give me a second. There we go. This one right here. I think this was one of my favorite shots just in general because of how well it was done. Everything, like, I can't even believe this was shot with a Lumix. I mean, a really expensive one. Yes, I know. But it's a Lumix. I wonder if you could find a shot, Zach, of just when he showed his camera, like against a mirror or something, you know? Like, it's just a camera with a lens, Zach. It looks like that. It looks like that. That, right? It looks like that. What we're shooting with right now, it just looked like that. It's not this big honky thing. It's not this, I'm sitting on a cart right now and doing this thing. Yeah. Look, hold on. Let me see if I can recognize it. I don't know if it's not a GH because I think it would, or not a GH5 because it would say it like right here, I think.
Here, hold on. Let me.
Oh, this is a Reddit post. I guess we can look at it right now. Hold on. Here we go. Let's see it. Here we go. What camera did he use? Wait, before I look, let's place your bets, Zach. I'm saying GH9X, I think is what it's called.
I think it was called like the H200 or something like that.
Oh, is it one of those? Oh, I guess that exists. Okay. Let's see. Panasonic. I can't see it.
S1H, I think.
S1H. That's an older one, isn't it? It's been a really long time to look at Panasonic. So yeah. You could put Zach, that's on the shelf in Best Buy a couple aisles down.
Yeah. Okay. I do want to say though, this is like a $3,000 camera.
Yes, of course.
But as far as like cinema cameras go, Zach,
it's not one of these.
Yeah.
It's not one of these. What you see what I'm doing? Audio listeners don't, but you see what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on the cart, wheeling and shit.
Right.
Zach, it's on a tripod. I have that tripod.
It's one of these.
It's one of those.
Why did you switch over to that?
My bad.
It's one of these. Okay, it's bigger than this. But,
Bigger than that. That's, yeah. And it's, I hate to, because I know we want to start talking about the meat and potatoes and the actual concept of it, but I just, the way just the production of it was just way too good for someone in a room with $20 lights, you know?
Yeah.
But that says how much you can get out of, one, a really expensive camera, and two, what you have. And three, heavy bokeh.
Heavy bokeh.
Heavy bokeh.
No, but I mean, I know that we hate to break the fourth wall, and we say that for just the sheer amount of time that we spend breaking the fourth wall. But like, you look at the lights that we use for this set, and it's nothing really too spectacular. Like, and that definitely goes to show, like, if you know how to use it, then you can get a lot out of not that much.
Zach, you've seen those YouTube videos because you and I both have looked them up because we're those people of like better YouTube lighting.
Yeah.
For $20 or some shit like that, And the thumbnail is always super dramatic. It's like the first one, it's like a before and after in the thumbnail, and the before is like a Logitech webcam, and then the second one is like they're mirrorless, and then they have a bunch of like orange and blue lighting and shit.
Mm-hmm.
But if you look past that, it is just that simple. It is just shine a lamp or two on your face, darken the background, and add highlights where you need to.
Yeah.
It is that simple.
Right.
And a lot of people don't understand this, especially the streamer buddies out there who are like, all right, I don't really know much how to get I don't know why my Sony A6400 doesn't look that good. Maybe I should buy a $200 light and shine it on one side of my face and call it a day, Maybe that'll fix my problem, Zach. Maybe I should spend a lot of money on my microphone. Maybe my camera will look better.
I sound like shit. Maybe I should buy a Shure SM7B and a cloud lifter.
That'll make me sound better.
Yeah, it's not because I have the mic 10 fucking feet away.
What are these switches on the back of the Shure SM7B? A high pass? I don't know what that is. I'll just leave it.
I'll just leave it alone. Yeah.
I'm joking.
We end up talking about this a lot on accident, but it's such a universal concept.
I think, Zach, as soon as the kids' parents stop giving them Teslas and Mercedes to drive to high school, I think that, that's not going to stop, because apparently I was having a conversation with my family because I was at my grandparents', as I mentioned. And one of the reasons why we stayed late is because we were just talking. We were also watching the fight, Fury and Wilder. Which is that interesting fight. I don't know if you watched it or even was in social media while it happened.
I was not.
That was so strange, but that's besides the point. I don't know. Basically, we were just kind of chatting, and as older people do, aunts and uncles do, they like to talk about how it was when they were kids, as they do. They always be doing that, I mean,
even we do that.
We do that too, but they love to do that.
Yeah.
So we were saying, but one thing they were saying, not necessarily because one of my uncles, he's really really smart, and frankly, you wouldn't really get that from him, but it's kind of like he's really interested in like how the world has changed in this perspective of how he grew up,
Mm-hmm.
and how kids are raised now, how individualistic it is. Like we were talking about, like, like LGBT and, coming out as transgender and that type of stuff, and how that was, and how, it's, I mean, that opens a different topic, of course, but, he was just interested in how the world is changing, and he's not obviously saying that as a bad thing. He's just saying he thinks it's cool, obviously, and he respects that. But again, topic for another time. But another thing that he brought up was, like, I think we talked about it before, like tech and giving your kids tech and stuff. And the reason why I brought up that car thing is because he was like, he went to drop off his daughter to school, and all these kids are driving like Teslas and Mercedes and shit, really cool cars that their parents give them,
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, bro, what? And And then that ended up being, of course it did, evolved into a talk about the value of money and stuff, right?
Yeah.
And kids not knowing how to save their money, that type of talk. And I mean, it wasn't exactly like that. It was more of a just a more gentleman's talk and a more of like what if and how, as a couple adults might talk about, as now I'm in the conversation as well as an adult myself, right?
Yeah.
So that and then he was like, well, when my daughter drives, no, she's getting a fucking Prius, dude. You know what I mean? I'm not buying her an expensive car. I don't care, And and we already talked about it, so I'm not going to go about it again. But what that will do is teach her how to get the most out of her Prius, the most out of her Corolla, the most out of her Camry,
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of the same thing of what we're doing here and what Bo did. He did spend a lot of money on his camera, but he's getting the most out of it. And he's getting the most out of all his equipment and stuff. And in a singular, in even looking more broader, the most out of the singular room he has.
Oh my God, yeah. Like if you didn't know that it was all shot in one room, you would have thought that there were so many different sets and like all of this different types of stuff.
I mean, you're in one room for an hour and a half. And he was able to convey so many different settings for an hour and a half. Have you ever been in a room for an hour and a half, Zach? You look at it like, man, this is a room.
I mean,
this is a room, Zach.
You look at the song "White Woman's Instagram."
Oh my gosh, that is my favorite one, Zach. That is my favorite one for all sorts of reasons. That is my favorite performance.
Yes. And it's my favorite too, because he's able to create so many different sets and designs and so many different looks, and it is just so good.
So what he does is like, that might be put, I don't know, someone just made an account. That's funny. But what he does is kind of replicate a bunch of influencer model Instagram pics, But look with the lighting and the set design and stuff all in one room. Well, I got to be careful because I'm pretty sure there's one where his ass is out or something. So I got to be careful where I show here. But like, he does so much. Like, what's the craziest part? I don't think it's really translating very well in the screen that the people are watching right now. And surely definitely not for the audio listeners. They don't know what the fuck's going on. But when you're watching it, the way he edits it and positions it and frames it and color corrects it, bro, that's literally exactly like a photo would be. And it's so done. Like, you can see, like, this is how it would be on the, like, look how well this is just an Instagram pic right here. You can post that. It's like I took it into Lightroom and edited a shit ton and put it on Instagram. But it was recorded. Mm-hmm. It was in video, and that was so well done. I first of all, props to that, because that's very hard to do. I'm still, though I joke a lot, and I'm like, I've been editing for a couple of days now, but I've been editing for a really long time, and it's really hard to do stuff like that. To be able to create an image that is moving and make it look as if it's a picture. In that type of aesthetic.
Oh, dude, it is so fascinating once you kind of go down that rabbit hole, especially with this special, because it was such a perfect example of so many different camera techniques, so many different lighting techniques, audio, basically everything that he did. You could sit down and have an hour-long conversation about. You could look at, like, you could pretty much pause at any moment in time during this entire special and pick out a bunch of different really, really cool things that he did. And he was so deliberate with basically every single shot, everything he said, everything he did. It was just like the attention to detail is something that I have never seen a single person do in my entire life. And watching it and then going back with the power of hindsight that this took over a year for him to make, it's like, no fucking wonder it took so long, because he had so many different intricate set designs. You know, he was experimenting with different lighting techniques, and then he would sit there, press record on his camera, go run over, press play on, you know, whatever he was playing, and then record it himself. And then he would be sitting down in Final Cut Pro and putting all of these pieces together. And it's just like, dude, I don't even want to know how big that fucking file size was when he exported it.
I don't know how that. He must have a bunch of. He must have been ready with a bunch of hard drives and stuff, external hard drives just laying around. God help him if he had to edit off an external hard drive.
Oh God,
he probably did though. But you know what this tells me, Zach? It tells me that if he had a camera for a fraction of the price and a lens for the fraction of the price, he could have done the same thing. Just with a different look, but because he has so much knowledge on all these other things: lighting, framing, composition, or I guess compositing is the correct term. And it kind of tells you, you know, there's way more than like, God, I hate reiterating so much, but it does tell you that you don't need an expensive camera to do to solve all your problems. What you need is more knowledge in what you're doing. There's a reason why there's courses and classes on film and stuff and recording. Yeah, go ahead.
So I kind of want to spin this into a different direction so that we're not reiterating the same thing episode after episode. And it's not because it's not an important point. It just kind of feels like we're saying the same thing over and over again.
No, yeah, but because it is an important point. I wanted to instill it into these people's fucking brains because Zach, do you know how to instill something in their brain?
Say it over.
You say it over and over again.
So something that I kind of want to spin this into is the concept of we are moving away from only being able to get a cinematic look with a cinema camera. And I love that. Yeah. And with the camera that Bo was using, that's something that anyone can get their hands on. Obviously, it's going to cost a pretty penny, but if you...
In the grand scheme of things, compared to the, you know, like the C2000s or 200s and stuff.
Yeah. Or like, you know, the red
reds. Oh, man. Bro, you could have told me he shot that on a red or a Black Magic.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Like,
also, for context, those are like
really cool, expensive buddy cameras. Linus shoots on a red MKBHD.
He switched to Black Magic.
Oh, he did. Okay,
yeah, he did.
Good for him. I actually like Black Magic a lot. I'm sure MKBHD does.
Yep.
You know, those. You know how much money those cost, Zach?
I think I looked it up, and like the base 4K red camera was like 30,000.
The base.
The base
of this, not the lens, not the handle, not the intricate accessories, not the super expensive SD cards, SSD cards.
The body.
That's it. This cube.
That
cannot do anything yet.
And you're probably going to have to invest that much on all of the stuff that you need for it. And now you have a camera that you can buy for, 10 times less than that.
And finance it for even less.
I mean,
because it's the future.
dude, I'm paying $200 a month for my R6.
That's what I'm saying.
And I would say that my favorite thing to see is the types of things that people can come up with these cameras that are, they're really, really good. They can do some really amazing things, but at the same time, it's not a Blackmagic 12K or anything like that. It's something
obviously, right. What we're not doing here is saying don't ever buy a Blackmagic or a red because they're shit. That's not what we're doing.
Yeah. What I'm saying is that we have gotten to the point where you can get a similar look, not the same look, but something similar that is more palatable for people who are wanting to get into cinematic filming and all of those types of things. And that's probably like one of my favorite things about being a photographer and doing some video stuff nowadays, is that just looking at some of the stuff that I've seen people do with, a EOS R6 or the R5 or
Mhm.
a Fuji X-T3. Like some of the stuff that Ben has done is fucking amazing, and I've showed you, and I've put some videos up for the people watching to see. But
In the past episodes, yeah.
in the past episodes, yeah. But that camera costs like $2,000, something like that,
Mhm.
less than what my camera costs, and it's like, dude, it's insane. It's insane. And we're getting to the point now where you can go back a couple generations to like, so I'm using the R6, and if you use the Canon EOS R, you can still get 4K 60. You can
Mhm.
still get some really, really amazing pictures and video out of it. But that camera came out, what, like 2-3 years ago? And it still does amazing stuff. And that's super, super cool. And I'm just wondering how close we're going to get to consumer cameras and cinema cameras.
Zach, do you remember? I don't know if you saw this. You might have missed this. This was quite a while ago, but it was during a football game. And this was, of course, during COVID times, but sports were starting to come back up.
Mhm.
So it's been quite a while. And there was this shot. So in American football, that is, when, let's say, I don't even remember if it was a touchdown or not. It's just a player running through the field, right? And then sometimes they'll have they'll switch the camera on the floor. Or turf, the floor of the field, onto the field, right? And then he'll fall. He's right here following or whatever. And for whatever reason, it's so interesting. I found this so interesting. What happened was that there was just a clip. It happens all the time, but no, it's just another shot. But this one time in particular, everyone freaked out about it, and it blew up on social media.
Mm-hmm.
This crazy shot that looks more. What did it say? The headline. I mean, the headline. It's obviously exaggerated, but the headline was like, this camera shot that looks clearer or looks better than real life or some shit like that.
Yeah.
And what Zach, you know what it was? It was like a Sony like A6 or something on a gimbal.
And were they just fucking running?
Yeah. And what happened was, Zach, and this was the interesting thing, and I told you, I mentioned it before how I kind of find it sad, but obviously there's a scenario. Usually in the sports ball that I watch, Zach, what happens, the cameras, Zach, what do you notice about the cameras? What do you notice about the shots?
I know that. Are you talking like stills or video?
Video. If you're watching right now, the football's playing right now, what are you noticing if you're not watching the game necessarily? You're watching the camera work. What do you notice?
I don't really watch sports that often, so I haven't really paid attention.
All good. Okay, the answer is a lot more obvious than you think. What you notice is the crowd, because there's no separation.
Yeah.
Because the crowd wants to be seen. If there's a close-up of a player on the field, the brain aperture, I guess, is more closed, if you will.
Yep.
So it's just there's no separation.
Yeah.
There's no blur or no depth of field, I guess. Right. But what happened was, for the first time, I don't know if it's the first time, but in the first time, at least social media was able to witness it in this fashion, someone popped out a Sony A7S or whatever the fuck it was. Might even have been an A6000 or some shit. Maybe, I don't know. That would have been funny if it was. But busted one of those bad boys out with a 1.8 or some shit and just followed this guy around. And everything behind him was blurred.
Mm-hmm. Something
so simple to us. But it looks so not, because it looks so real. When the human eye, Zach, when you focus on something really close, you don't really realize that everything behind you gets blurred. And it's just because, you have, I'm looking right at my mic right now. You have two eyeballs and it's not able to focus on things. So it kind of separates it,
Mm-hmm.
But what that does, and what depth of field is able to do, is to simulate that.
bokeh.
you know, that blur behind a background of a subject, because that's what your eye is doing. You're not literally not focusing on what's behind. So it gets blurred out. So your subconscious, back what I was talking about, Zach, with your subconscious not wanting to look at it. So it murders it in the background and only focuses on the subject. And what that did was blow everybody's freaking minds. Like, whoa, look at this super expensive camera this guy on the field has right now. The homie brought a movie camera down there, a cinema camera. No, Zach, he brought a $2,000, $3,000 camera he bought on Best Buy off the shelf 3 days ago.
Yeah,
and a gimbal on the aisle next over. You know, that was so fascinating to me. And obviously, like we're saying, you know, $2,000, $3,000 is still a pretty penny. But in the scheme of shooting cinematic video, that's pretty good. I mean, the Pocket Blackmagic 4K is like what, $2-3 grand? I think as a base, of course, but that's still pretty good. The Blackmagic Pocket 4K, 8K, whatever the hell it is, and that shoots crazy cinematic stuff. And the main thing and now I'm trickling it down to a more finer thing, and I think this could kind of lead back into the whole Bo Burnham thing, maybe, is when streamers, again playing the reiteration game, spending
$12.95. What the
$12.95 for a Blackmagic Pocket 4K. And I'm pretty sure it uses, micro 4/3 lens, or maybe not micro, but Panasonic lenses, right? Because it says 4/3. I believe that's a guess. And we already talked about how cinematic Lumix is, you know? Panasonic is. So.
Okay, I just have to say really quick before we continue, that's fucking wild.
That is wild. Maybe we just buy one, Zach. I got my Amazon card. We can finance it. Let's do this shit. We'll just have one angle really good. My camera and then your camera. Your camera is just normal, and then we'll go, hey guys. And it's like really nice, and there's black bars. But what I'm trying to trickle down to now is when, again, more reiteration, is when streamers have really expensive gear and they don't realize that they can get a lot more out of the cheaper gear that they have if they just took the time and spent the time to know what they're doing. I found it super funny, and now we get to type back to the Bo Burnham thing because I know you really want to do that. When he was emulating a streamer, and he was in the corner of the screen, green screen, he had the Shure SM7B too. That was funny as fuck. I don't know if that was like a subconscious diss, or maybe it was just a simple fact that most streamers, most known streamers have it.
But also they use it for a lot of vocals as well.
Like Shure SM7B or well, yeah, I understand that, but he didn't use that the entire show. He used an RE20, or a handheld mic, which looked like a Shure 58 or something, SM58, but or 48, sorry, 48, I think. And then he also uses an Electro Voice RE20, which is my favorite microphone personally.
Yeah, and
he only used a Shure SM7B for that Twitch streaming segment when he was emulating playing a game, which told me, okay, he's making fun of all the streamers that just have this expensive microphone, you know, and then still playing the game, trying to be, it's as obvious, and it's emulating a really serious game, and it looks really nice. Oh, thank you for the 5 months, Dante, you know, you know, and breaking that. It's really funny, but I feel like a lot of people would be surprised if I told people that the handheld microphone that he was using. I don't know what it is specifically. You can probably look it up for me, Zach. But to me, it probably looked like a Shure SM48, but I had to take a stab. And I feel like a lot of people would be surprised to know that mic cost like $50. Yeah, $50. $39.99 right now
on B&H.
Free shipping.
And I mean, even if we look at the SM58,
yeah, the one that I'm using right now, or sorry, the 58. No, I'm using the 57 right now.
Yeah, you're using the
58. No, the 58 doesn't exist, I think. Or no. Well, hold on. Hold on. I'm gonna grab the mouse for a second.
Okay.
Let me just make sure, because I don't know what the 58 is. Okay. Duh. I think no, I didn't see a Shure, so I'm not sure if we used this, but it might have been this. Even then, $100 mic. You know. This is also a $100 mic, but this mic versus that mic is different use. I'm technically, if I had to, I should be using that mic, but I'm using this mic instead. But
Silly goose.
Silly youth. I got my numbers mixed. 58, 57. My bad. But I feel like a lot of people would be surprised at how cheap a lot of, like we said, a lot of his gear is. Other than his camera, but well, and then relatively for the type of thing he's shooting, still pretty cheap. Because he's shooting a film at this point.
This is not only is he shooting a Netflix special, he's shooting a movie.
Yeah, he's shooting a film.
And you're talking about like the types of cameras and equipment that they used for all of his other Netflix specials up until this point. Like the budget was exponentially less than any other special that he's ever done. And even with that being said, it's still the best special, in my opinion, that he's ever done.
I agree.
Because it's just, this is one of those things that I could sit and talk about all day because it's such a beautiful representation of everything that we've talked about up until this point when it comes to tech and, the magical word on our channel, use case. It's such a poetic way to just show the extent of the capabilities of the things that you're using. And he bought a fucking $15 disco ball off of Amazon and used it in the very beginning of the show, and that was like one of my favorite shots that he's ever done. Or even in that special, like it was still one of my favorites because it's so simple, yet you would have never thought about it. Because it's like, you always see the spotlights on the disco ball and, it's showing the lights everywhere. But you never think to strap the light to your fucking head and just look at the disco ball. Yeah,
well, he's independent shooting. He doesn't have a crew. So you have to be really creative. You have to really find really interesting ways. I mean, before when we were starting this this show, like we were finding ways to, because before we did OBS, of course, we were trying to find ways to record without having to stop the recording, because there's a 30 minute recording limit for most cameras that ship overseas. And that's for tax reasons. Of course it is. But we were using like what the fuck was it called? Intervalometer, right?
Yep, intervalometer.
Yeah, which is for still shooting, I believe. But you can use it in the same way to make it so you just automatically record and then stop recording and then keep recording.
Can I steal one of those, by the way?
Yeah, I bought 2 of them, so yeah, you can just have one.
Okay. I never thought about it until literally just now.
Well, it didn't work for your 70D, but it definitely should work for your R6 now.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, that'll be fun. Yeah, go ahead. But anyways, yeah, like.
I forgot that was even a thing that we did.
Yeah, we had to find a lot of ghetto ways to get around doing this show.
And I loved that. I loved just the creativity that we both had to have to just even get this off the ground, and the kind of roundabout ways that we found to solve these problems. And like you were saying, the intervalometers and like there were just so many different things that we did before we even thought about using OBS.
Yeah, and they're so simple, but you don't think about it because nowadays. Okay, I said it, Zach. I did the term, the boomer term. Nowadays, I did the thing. Nowadays, you can just throw money at your problem to fix it.
Yep.
I'm a boomer. I'm boomer talking. I'm sorry. When you get older, it just happens. You devolve into that state of boomer talk. But it's what happens, when there is probably a product that can suit your needs at any point.
I accidentally switched to my camera. Sorry.
Oh, that's okay. Oh, I forgot your side buttons. There is and if you need something, Zach, right now.
You can find it.
You can find it. You can pay for it. A low amount of money or a big amount of money. And you can pay for it and you can get it. It's that simple now. And I'm not, like I've mentioned before, when I boomer talk, I'm not saying it in discredit because like I said, I understand tech is the future. Electric cars is the future. Wi-Fi 6 and whatever the frick it's going to be next time, probably 69, is the future.
That would be amazing.
I understand that. And I'm not boomer talking the way, oh man, kids should just, blah, blah, blah. Like back when I was a kid, kids should be like that. No, kids should do whatever the fuck they want because they're kids and they need to evolve as a society. Otherwise, we'll be left behind or we'll be stuck. That's fine. I understand that, okay? I am not an old person. I am, but I'm not your typical boomer. I'm the boomer that supports the youth. Anyways, what was I getting at? Oh yeah,
Tech and shit.
tech and shit. Not the game, but tech. I'm not going to go back into the same topic we have every single episode. I'm going to refrain. I'm going to stop myself. But I will say, we were looking at microphones before, Shure microphones. And if you really want that sound of a Shure SM7B, but you don't know anything about microphones or audio in general, take a step down and get that USB version. And you'll get the same similar sound in a USB interface, and you'll be happy. There you go. And that's like $250. I'd pay $250 for that. That's a way better deal. All right.
Anyway, so I'm gonna steal the floor for a second.
Do it, dude.
So I would say,
I'm getting hot. I'm gonna turn the AC.
yeah, I was just about to ask you to do
Go
that,
ahead.
but
You're gonna hear a beat. Don't worry about it.
beep. So I would say one thing that the Bo Burnham special did for me, for sure, was it inspired me to try a bunch of new things when
Yes.
it comes to shooting video, which is why I posted those 2 videos on my YouTube channel.
You did.
And that was just kind of me experimenting with the with some of those different types of shots. Oh, I'm the first thing to come up when you search up my name.
That you are because
Oh,
you picked a universal name or a unique name, which not a lot of people are good at. Where is it? Let's do this. Oh, that one as well. We ended up doing pretty well, by the way. Wait, no, that was Ash's the different. Well, or anyways, whatever. You did a similar idea where you just have a conveniently similar shaped room,
Yeah.
very wide shot because you could shoot in 4K now, and you just
I just punched
Punched
in, hella,
in.
and
then zoomed outwards, and it was great.
it just kept going.
And it just kept going. You had a singular light, or 2 lights, sorry. So, what you accomplished here is way more simpler than than one might think. I mean, yes, you spend a lot of money on a camera, sure, but that's just a tool. So you spend money on tools anyways. We already talked about this. Zach, headphones, studio monitors, that type of shit. We talked about this.
Okay, so one thing I will say is that this was probably one of the quickest edits I've ever done on a video, like ever, because it was just camera audio, and I just had to do the zoom effect thing digitally.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, if you guys didn't know, all of the stuff where it looks like the camera's moving in the Bo Burnham special, that is all digital.
Mhm.
And so what I did is I
Well,
went...
most of it, mostly digital.
No, it's all digital.
Is it all digital?
Yeah.
Oh, did he have a prime lens?
Yeah.
Really?
Every single one of those shots was shot on a prime lens.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah. So, and the As the World Caves In was another one too, that I did something similar. It was a little bit different, but
Not a Bo Burnham. Was it? It's not a Bo Burnham
No,
song,
it's not
right?
a
Yeah,
Bo
it's not a Bo
Burnham
Burnham
song.
song, but
but it was kind of a similar type of, like, I only had one light and I used
because I took all of yours. at
No.
the time.
no, I still have like 2 lights at home, right?
Mhm.
No, I have 3 lights at home.
I'm still using one of yours, so
Yeah. That's fine. But like using that digital zoom to be able to make it feel like the shot has movement
Mhm.
is so fascinating. And also this is the first time I ever played piano and sang on my YouTube channel, so that was kind of cool.
Yeah, you did it really well.
Thank you, buddy. I don't even know how well this video did, and quite honestly, I don't really care.
Yep. Up. Well, up. Okay, continue. Sorry. I'm bad. I'm a bad technician. I'm sorry.
It's all good. Also, by the way, if you click on this monitor before you do that, it won't skip in the video.
Oh, because we clicked into OBS.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's crazy. I'm sorry.
So this was the first video that I ever played piano and sang, and this was like, I think this was like the day after I watched the Bo Burnham special, and I had like,
Just wanted to do something.
I just wanted to do something.
Just wanted to see with what you had.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna buy anything. I'm not gonna buy anything new or anything cool. See what I got.
Yeah,
That's exactly how I felt, Zach. Like 3 a.m. I'm like, I got out of my bed and I was like, all right. I walked over here and I got to work. And I didn't go to bed till like 6 a.m. and I got like 6 hours of sleep, which is not that bad. Actually, I don't even know if I went to bed at 6 a.m. 6 a.m. was just the last time I looked at the clock, so I don't know.
But yeah, so a really funny thing. So my 50 millimeter is currently sitting on this camera, and it's been sitting on this camera essentially since you bought the M200.
Yes.
And so I didn't have it. And this was on I used my 85 millimeter, and it was super funny because my camera was on the other side of my room, and you know how big my room is.
Yeah.
So I was sitting right there, and my camera was sitting like probably like 5 feet in front of my door. And so,
Not in this one, but the other video.
yeah.
I just changed the video, but yeah.
But yeah, it was really cool to just sit and experiment and do all that kind of stuff. And, you know, that was before I bought my new camera and all that kind of stuff. And it's just so interesting how you can get inspiration to try new things in very random situations. Like, you know, you watch a Bo Burnham special and then you're like, fuck it, dude, I'm going to sit here and try to do something cool with this. And, you know, it ended up turning out way better than I expected it to. And this video was super, super simple, like I said before. But it's just such a perfect example of, you know, the ways that you can go around all of that kind of stuff. Like the limitations of the stuff that you have, you just have to work around it. Mm-hmm. And that's what I did for a lot of the videos that I've made and a lot of the projects that I've worked on. And, you know, having those types of limitations only makes it so that you need to be more creative. And I would say that that's probably my favorite thing about when I was using my 70D like every day. Mm-hmm. Just the types of random shit that I would do to work around the limitations of that camera. And I honestly, low-key, kind of miss it a little bit.
Sure.
Just because, you know, it was fun to just do a bunch of research and figure out what stuff would get me to where I wanted to be with whatever I was working on.
Well, I mean, every now and then I'm just like, I have my PC, I have all my USB hubs and all this stuff over there. And almost every day I tell you this too, man, it would just be fun to minimalize everything. Get like a small form factor case, ITX build, probably like 1 USB hub max, and just use what I have. Because I have a lot of things going on over there and a lot of things plugged in, a lot of USB hubs, all sorts of things. But the more I started, I mean, but that's for different reasons because I use it for work and I need a lot of things plugged in, a lot of drives and stuff. You know, that's for a different reason. But if I was, you know, for maybe a casual use, maybe if I was just stinking rich and I can just have a computer for work and then a computer for just like gaming or being on Discord with the boys or something. Literally, I would have probably 1 monitor, maybe a second monitor, maybe even not. Well, the 2 monitors is nice, but let's just say 1 monitor, a keyboard and a mouse, a webcam or a camera. Let's say a camera. Let's treat myself. Maybe a lamp to shine on my face.
Yeah. Or one of those dinky little boys.
One of the dinky boys over there. That's a nice one. I forgot
my arm went into your shots.
That's okay. That's okay. It happens. You know, and I have my PC and I would have my keyboard and my mouse plugged in. Maybe my light if I want to plug it in USB, which you shouldn't do, but I do anyways. That's okay.
It's fine. Everything's fine.
My monitor display port. I'd have a microphone because I'm not going to headset mic. I'm not a pleb. And that'd be like it. Maybe
Yeah.
if I had a stream, I stream. I don't have any consoles or anything, so it's OBS. I don't need a. Oh, I don't know if I mentioned my camera capture card. Sure, but like
That's it.
that's about it. And I think about that a lot. Like I always think about how I can simplify my current setup and what ways I can do it. What can I axe? What do I not really need? And again, this was I don't know if I said this on camera, but where did I? When I was talking about my lighting and my webcam, I don't know if was that before we were shooting.
I'm going to be honest. I do not remember.
Okay, in case it was before I was shooting, last night in my, as well as like we were mentioning, after watching that Bo Burnham special, I just wanted to do things, so I just was up till 6 a.m. doing shit. One thing was I bought an LED strip, classic, normal LED strips, as one does, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna set this up right now. And I was plugging it in. It's plugged in right now. And I was getting it ready. And I was looking at my camera. And I was like, you know what? I kind of like the shot I have right now without the RGB strips. Because I just have a light. And what I did was, normally when I stream, I have my lights on. All of the lights. The house lights, if you will, right? I have these lights on. We have it off right now. But I have these lights on. And then I had like a floodlight, and then that was my webcam lighting. And that was, I didn't dislike it. I like that a lot. But I tried turning it off, and I've turned it off before, but it had a different effect because before my shot, you can kind of see right now, was towards that way and it's into a corner. So it doesn't really have the same effect. Now my camera's flipped this way. So now you're looking into actually like this podcast set right now. You can barely make out the camera right here. Or that's the little digital not viewfinder.
Yeah, viewfinder or LED screen or
the screen, buddy.
LCD. Yeah,
the screen, buddy. The looky, buddy.
Yeah, looky screen, dude.
Looky screen, buddy, dude.
Yeah,
ma'am. So now it's grabbing a lot more just inherently because this is much a more open shot because I less condensed it. Anyway, it's not things that people don't care about or understand unless I show them, of course. But basically, there's more in the shot now to focus on, like we talked about before. So what I did now, I turn off the lights, which kills everything here. Besides of my key lights is what I think I would call them, that shines on my face. And then I have a lamp that shines on against that wall. And then that's my shot. Let me find a picture. I have a picture. It's probably on my Twitter. What?
It is on your Twitter.
Oh, it's right there. No. Look at your boy.
Look at your boy.
And I had the RGB strips. Like maybe I don't know, bitch ass RGB strip, Holmes. Like it's simple. It's clean. You can see the arm here, but I don't know. I might hide it. Maybe I'll keep it. I don't know. But I was gonna have an RGB strip. I might still do it, but maybe in a different fashion. At least definitely in a different fashion than I intended to use it. So now I'm just like, dude, I like this shot the way it is. It has a really nice look to it. It shines naturally. This foreground or background is murdered in darkness, and only what I need to be lit up is lit up. And now I really like that shot. And I'm just like, Zach, I've had this lamp.
Yeah.
I bought this RGB strip.
And you don't need it.
And I don't need it.
So,
Zach, I had this bookshelf. It was over here.
Yeah.
Actually, no, it was over here. But,
one of my favorite things that I love telling people is that sometimes the most complicated problems can have the simplest solutions. And when you're trying to change up your setup, do all that kind of stuff, really mix things up a little bit, change things.
Sure.
Sometimes it's easy to get way too technical with the way that you want to do things. Mm-hmm. And sometimes you don't even need to buy anything. You don't need to change anything. You don't need to, sometimes it's just that one little thing that can make a world of difference. And for example, for your streaming setup, it was that lens. And
yes, dude.
And
did I even talk about that yet?
I don't know. But you said that you bought a 20 millimeter 1.8 for
it's actually 1.7.
Oh, 1.7.
No.
I forget that Lumix does 1.7. That's kind of interesting. But regardless,
It does make a difference.
It makes a huge difference, and it's something that you wouldn't really think about until you see it. And then once you see it, you're like, oh my God, this makes so much more sense now. And then it's just kind of like, boop.
Mm-hmm. And even then, Zach, like it was such like an inexpensive thing because every mirrorless at the moment has their equivalent lens, their equivalent 20 millimeter, 1.8, 2.4 or whatever.
Or like
they're really compact one for their APS-C sensor.
Yeah,
of course, but they're really small, 20 millimeter. Canon has one, Sony has one.
The Pancake Boys. I had a 24 millimeter 1.8,
and they're all the same price ish, around that $200 ish, 100 if you want to look at eBay, which is what I did.
Yeah.
So it was essentially just like $100 upgrade, just another shift. I mean, a little more than a shift, but you know what I mean, Zach. You know?
Exactly. Yeah.
Like it was just that much, and I loved my kit lens for the Lumix G7, and frankly, it's hard for me to. There's a lot of shortcomings with using a Lumix G7 as your webcam, but as we explained before, finding workarounds is fun. So if you'd like to adventure with that, I still recommend it. Although at this point, I kind of more recommend like the M200 that we're shooting off of Zach's camera, unless you want to get into shooting in Panasonic. Which after seeing a film like Bo Burnham, maybe you might be into Panasonic now, and you might want to look into the Lumix series now, depending on what you're doing.
Yeah.
But that's besides the point. I'm trying to make. We were looking. I've this entire time I've been looking at different lenses, different like Rokinon lenses, and all these like really expensive, all this expensive glass, $500, $600, $300, and all it took to get a look that I finally wanted was a $120, $30 lens.
Isn't that the craziest shit ever? Okay, dude, look,
dude.
I know we're breaking the fourth wall again, but like.
Yeah, these are $50 lenses we're shooting off, or $60, $70 lenses,
Yeah.
Like, come on, like, you look at this and you're like, man, I'm gonna buy a Sony A6400. I'm gonna buy a Logitech Brio 4K webcam. Hold on, I needed for the children, Zach. I need to look up the price of a Logitech Brio. Here's the thing, Zach. I'm not shitting on that webcam. There is nothing wrong with that webcam at all. That is not what I'm saying. Because the purpose of a webcam is to get a camera, is to get a feed, a USB feed for your meetings, for your stream, for whatever it is. And for that matter, that's fine. But let me go ahead. What I'm trying to get at and trying to type while talking, but I'm not doing it. But to be fair, it's really hard to type in this angle. I don't even know how I spell. I also can't even see the screen because it's really far away from me. But let's see. I'll check 4K Brio. What are we looking at here? All right. Oh, we're going to do a big reveal here. All right, Zach, let's take some bets. What are we looking at, Zach? What are we thinking?
250.
200.
200.
Not bad. Not bad. Sure. I spent that much money on my lens. And now you could make the argument, okay, but you spent twice that much on the Lumix G7. Sure. But now what can I do with this Lumix G7 that I have now that you can't do with your 4K Brio?
It's not just a webcam.
It's not just a webcam. You can't take your 4K Brio off your fucking monitor and start taking it around and vlogging with it. You can't do that, Zach.
Yeah.
You can't shoot your skit around your room for your G Fuel sponsor with your 4K Brio. At least not unless you're sitting at your desk like a fucking plebeian.
Yeah.
So you spend $200 on something like this, Zach, on a 4K Brio, and it looks like fucking shit. Or we go to eBay. And I think you know where I'm going with this, because we mentioned it before in the show. I know. Fuck off, dude. It's freaking Chrome. And we look up like, I don't know.
Why do you have golf clubs in your eBay?
Well, this isn't even my eBay, so I'm not sure. GoPro Hero. Let's see. I think a 5 black. Here we go. 157, 150. That's a case. 200, but that's no bidding or anything. 100, but at bids, you know, like a 4K, 60 FPS.
Yeah.
And this, and you pair it with a $20 Chinese Hong Kong special.
Fuck it.
Fuck it, dude. There you go. You got your webcam. And I understand, Zach, that what you're looking for is that easy solution that you can just throw money at that will work for you. You're looking for that Apple, that magic that does everything for you. The Tim Apple, the Stephen Bills, Zach.
You stole the words right out
I
of my
know.
mouth.
I knew you were going to say it, so I did it first. You're looking for that. And I understand that because I use one. You've used one.
Yeah.
I understand that. But sometimes in life, there we go. There's another classic boomer. We should have like a boomer line counter. How many boomer lines can Zach and Arthur use? I think we're at 2, maybe 3.
I think that would require way too much effort.
That would. Let's say we're at 3 right now. I think we're probably at 3
It's definitely more than that.
for this episode. If you are willing to get a little dirty, to think a little bit more outside the box.
And we're not talking about the iPhone 12 Pro Max box.
We're not talking about the Pro Max, Pro Ultra Jizz Max. You know, we're not talking about that.
Come.
We're talking about. Shut up! No, fuck off. We're talking about like, how dirty do you want to get something much better than what you could have gotten with your money for the same price? I don't know. That was kind of way too drawn out. I feel like you can simplify that better. Honors English too, by the way. But how jank, not even jank, I'm not gonna use the word jank. How creative do you want to get to find something that will work and will make you stand out from everyone else who has the thing that you were just going to do anyways? How can this show stand out from other shows? Here's a couple ways. We have really nice lenses that we didn't spend very much. Here's another one. I didn't throw hundreds of dollars on microphones on a Shure SM7Bs and RE20s. I'm using an instrument microphone.
And I'm using a $90 microphone.
Not even, bro. Like 70, 80, 50 on a good day.
And we spend a lot of time just learning about audio and video and lighting.
You know what one thing is, Zach? I feel like not a lot of people want to spend the time to figure it out. Because...
And that's why people will throw fucking money at it.
Yes.
I think that's...
I understand. Yes.
Bro.
That, yes, money can solve your immediate issue. But sometimes your immediate issue can be solved if you just kind of take a bit. Because like I've always said, we've already done it before. We look back in episode 1 of this show.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and we had what we had, and we did like it for what it was, but sure, there was a lot to be desired, but it's just where we were at. That's what we had. This is what we have to offer. We put it on the table. And then 20 some odd episodes later, you and I have learned a lot. Lighting, OBS, audio engineering. You know, we've cameras. I've learned a lot. You've learned a lot. Thumbnails. My favorite part about this entire guy. Sorry, Zach. Our conversations are great, but I think making thumbnails is really fun. But this has been like a show for like 4 or 5 some odd months now. This took a lot of time to get to where we're at right now. And I feel like not a lot of people want to spend that time. And I understand, because as a busy person, I don't have a lot of time. I understand that. As someone who works, as someone who might go to university, as someone who might, you know, be trying to find work, someone who's trying to make something work, you have limited time, and I understand that. You know, and you have to make these sacrifices. You know, okay, I'm going to stop working out. I'm going to stop going to the gym. I'm going to stop seeing friends every week. You make these sacrifices, you lock yourself in a room like fucking Bo Burnham did to get creative. And as you're watching it, it takes a different toll, obviously, because you start to see his mental state spiral downwards. I'm not talking about that. That's to what he's doing is a bit to the extreme. I'm just talking about spending time with the equipment you have and learning about it. What I'm talking about is you want to get into keyboards and you're like, shit, what do I want to do? I want to build a keyboard. I want to build a custom keyboard right now. Right now, Zach. Right now. What is the fastest tutorial I can look up right now? Zach, I want to edit a Call of Duty montage right now. How do I do it? Well, there's this. I have a couple of tutorials. No. Shut the fuck up, Zach. Don't. Shh. Now, right now, give me a 5-minute video, Zach, max, on how to edit a Call of Duty montage. That's as much as I'm going to give you to find a video for me. And I want to be as good as the best editors out there.
No.
Good. That's what I'm saying, Zach. I'm not saying that you need to go to school, though it would, yes, courses, specialized courses, that was helpful for us. I'm not saying you need to go that hardcore. What I'm saying is just spend a day or two, a week or two, a month or two, just to figure it out. Zach, I always talked about getting into keyboard, building my own keyboard. I talk about it for months. I watched so many videos. And it took like months to finally sit down and be like, okay, now let's do this. Because instead of just going for going on YouTube and searching budget keyboard build for under $100, all right, buy, let's do this shit. Instead of doing that, and although I did do that to an extent with my first keyboard build, instead of doing that, I waited. And I researched and I watched more videos. I read more content. I shopped around. I looked at my options and figured out what I needed to do. I asked around. Did I say that yet? I have friends who are into keyboards. You have friends who are into keyboards. I took my time and I learned. And then when I was finally ready to do it, I said I would do it. I did it on stream. 10-hour stream, by the way. I had a friend who walked me through it because he was also into keyboards in the stream. Shout out to you, Potato. I took my time with it, you know? I wasn't hasty. I didn't just jump right in, because if I did, then I feel like there's the only other option if I encountered a problem would be to continue throwing money at it.
Right. Dude, do you know how long I was talking to Ben about upgrading my camera before I actually did? So I got the 70D in like June-ish of 2018, and probably in like February of the next year, I think the EOS R came out, and I was like, oh, I want this camera so bad.
Yep.
And Ben was like, no, wait, just wait. And I was like, fuck you, Ben. Love you. But
fuck you.
but fuck you. Yeah. And you know, after that point, I was just like, man, I want to upgrade. Man, I want an upgrade.
Man.
I want an upgrade. But it wasn't until I needed an upgrade that I actually did. You know, like
same thing we keep talking about.
Yeah,
you know?
I didn't really. I wasn't being creative enough. I wasn't doing enough to try to come to the point where I'm like, I can do this with this camera, but I could also do it with the camera that I have. But I just have to be more creative, and I have to learn more and understand more for me to be able to get what I want to get with my camera.
Yeah.
And that's not something that I could just like, how to be a better photographer in 10 easy steps, you know, and
how to get 1 million subscribers in under 10 minutes.
yeah, exactly. It takes time, and you know, especially getting into the media field as a whole, whether it's photography, cinematography, editing, you know, YouTube, any type of media of any type, not only is it an investment of money, it's an investment in time. And so if you invest enough time into anything that you're trying to learn, you will benefit from it. And like, I'm currently trying to learn Japanese. You know that. They don't know that though. Hey, by the way, I'm trying to learn how to speak Japanese. But it's Ohio. So, it's not like I could just be like, how to be fluent in Japanese in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
It's like you have to invest time. And I feel like there are some people out there who think that it's just an investment of money, and it's not. And that's a hard pill to swallow for some people because they just want to throw money at the problem.
I think it's both because, things cost money.
Right. And
at a certain extent, at a certain point, you do have to drop, of course, depending how nitty gritty you want to get into this certain field, at a certain point, yes, you do have to drop a lot of money. At a certain point, yes, maybe the Shure SM7B is the path that you need. And then you have to, and that's a lot of money. So you have to put that at a certain point. Yes. So I think it's both, but I understand what you're saying. I understand that before it's a money investment, it should be a time investment, and then money should be a factor within that, I think. Or a money investment should be a sub-factor within time investment, is what I think that should be not rephrased, but I guess where I should lead where you're going, I guess, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I think... What am I trying to get at here?
Bro, the Bo Burnham special is a perfect example.
Yeah, the Bo Burnham is a perfect example of just using what you have,
investing time and money where it's needed.
Yes, I mean the underlying theme of Bo Burnham as a art piece is a little bit darker than that, but in the production side of what he did and what he was able to create, what is a good example of what we've been trying to say, I guess, of trying to find a way to do what you need. How can I do it? What do I need to learn? There were scenes in that Bo Burnham show of him just experimenting with his lighting.
Yeah.
Not even like it's kind of like as if it was like a behind the scenes type thing.
Yeah.
Where he was just like pointing like like that type of thing,
Yeah. Oh my gosh, dude, when the camera almost fell and he that scared the shit out of me. I was like, no. Because I
send this to photographers to scare the shit out of them.
Basically, dude, fucking pucker factor 10,000. But yeah, I mean, to kind of reel it back, this whole conversation started because of the Bo Burnham special Inside, and if you haven't seen it, then you probably live under a rock.
It's on Netflix. Everybody has Netflix. Zach, Demon Slayer is on it. You watch Demon Slayer, Zach, you can watch Bo Burnham right after. Great combo. Do you
want to be sad? Watch Bo Burnham. Do you want to be even more sad? Watch Demon Slayer. No, I'm joking. Your Lie in April's on Netflix. What?
No, but no, watch Bo Burnham. Finish watching your Squid Game. And then watch Bo Burnham. There you go. Are you watching Squid Game, Zach?
No. And then watch Parasite. It's a really good show.
Is that? Oh, yeah, that is on Netflix. That's right.
Yeah. I stole your Crunchyroll for that.
You did steal my Crunchyroll. That's okay. It's all good.
Bro, okay. I will say I am the one that chose the iMac background this time, and I chose the main character, Izumi, as the background for the iMac. Homeboy, dude. I think that you would really like this show.
I'm going to watch it.
Okay, you know what I think would be an interesting change of pace, and I would be interested to see what you guys think of this too. Is what if we switch the roles a little bit? Because I'm currently watching Parasite, and I'm about halfway through with it, and so what if after I'm done with it, I rewatch it and you watch it for the first time, so
perhaps
that we can have like a little bit of a change of pace.
Yeah, that would be great.
Because
I'd be down.
I would be super keen to do that.
Yeah, That would be down. I think watching it with someone else might make me feel better, but I mean, I might have to. No, I'll be okay. I know Parasite is not exactly what I'm making it out to be. I already know that.
Yeah.
I know that, but it's just it's just a fact, I suppose. But I always said I'm going to watch it anyways. It's not like I'm avoiding it. I know I'm going to watch it, so it's not like necessarily anything excuse worthy. I mean, but at the same time, for me at the moment, saying that is like, oh yeah, I'll get to Parasite, but I'll get to this anime. Oh, I need to get to this, and it stacks up for me. So for me, I'm no longer saying I don't want to watch Parasite because of like the human deformation factor type of thing. Now it's just I have too much to watch, and that's tough. But I will get to it though. I promise you. I will. I promise the people I will watch it, and I will watch all the shows that everybody watches. I watch the guys in Anuki. Yeah, I know. Watch 86 Anuki. I watch Mushoku Tensei Anuki. Yeah, I know. That's how you guys sound like in my head. But I'm sure you guys are very nice people. But that's what you guys sound like. But I wanted, after watching Bo Burnham and watching like this cinematic piece, I really want you to watch A Silent Voice now. Like really bad.
Ooh.
And it's a sad boy, but it's like
it's a very, from
it's
what
the
I've
deaf girl.
heard,
It's a deaf girl one.
yeah, from what I've heard, it's a very, very good watch. Like it's a very beautiful watch.
Because it's Kyoto makes it, and anything Kyoto makes, even if the story is bad, you just feel so compelled because everything looks so fucking beautiful. And you're gonna understand what I mean when you watch it. Because the movie and the concept is great, of course, but if you mute it, you'd be like, bro, this is such a fucking aesthetic. That word, aesthetic anime. Just because of how well it's just bait out. I think it's a movie, so we can just like pump it out. But I think it's something you should watch because it reminded me because I was just going through YouTube and then something popped up my recommend. It was like therapist reacts to A Silent Voice. I'm like, oh God.
Click.
I didn't click it though because I want to my rewatch needs to be with you. I think I want to see what you think and then I'll watch that because
Dude, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I love the concept of both of us kind of being like, me being like, I need to watch this with Arthur, and you sitting there thinking, I need to rewatch this with Zach. Like I love that we've created that kind of dynamic where you and I have these shows or movies or whatever it may be, where it's just like, fuck, I know that Arthur would enjoy this so much. And it's just super cool, and I'm glad that we've gotten to this point.
I'm glad too, Zach. It makes me happy specifically.
Yeah.
Because I am the parent here and you're my child. I birthed you and now you're watching Parasite by yourself. I never would have guessed that from you, Zach. I've seen this tag before.
Anyways,
I think you should watch A Silent Voice soon.
I agree.
I want to rewatch it because same thing with Kimi no Na wa. I was like, dude, it's so much different than I remember now that I know more. So I'd love to watch A Silent Voice. Or it's weird because the title is A Silent Voice, but even in the show itself, the English interpretation they use is the shape of voice.
Ooh.
Which to me sounds like a way better title. Why didn't they just use that? They even translated it to it. What happened? Where does Silent Voice come from? Oh, what the fuck?
I don't know.
But I think you would enjoy that just because, I don't know. I was feeling my cinematic junkie vibe after watching Bo Burnham. I was like, man, Zach would fucking love this shit. And it's about a deaf type of thing. So it's a thing that we both resonate with. And it's a bit of a darker tone, but I mean, it's still a watch that needs to happen. But I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's shit because Boss Baby won an award over it. So I don't know, man.
Fucking Boss Baby.
Fucking
dude.
Boss Baby, dude. You know, a cinematic masterpiece like Boss Baby. Come on, Zach. You know, so much.
Apparently, I'm just not cultured.
I guess we're just not cultured, Zach.
To understand the magnificent cinematic.
Maybe we need to watch an Easter egg video of Boss. Maybe we need to watch a breakdown of Boss Baby, Zach. Maybe everything we know is a lie. Maybe anime is just shit and Boss Baby is the golden standard.
Boss Baby is superior to all. only Boss Baby. Only Boss Baby and the Lorax, Arthur.
Lorax is good.
It is good.
But you know what? It's fine. I just want to watch. Okay, I think we should wrap it up for now. I know maybe you wanted to talk about the more darker tones of Bo Burnham, but I feel like if you're interested in that, maybe you should just fucking watch it.
Just go fucking watch it.
It's an hour and a half. You have an hour and a half.
You just watched an hour and a half.
You just binged Squid Game in one night.
You just watched us babble on like a bunch of fucking buffoons for over an hour and a half.
You can watch Bo Burnham's special. All right. Do you think people should watch his others first and then? I think so, huh?
So what I have done in the past with people who have never watched Bo Burnham, I did this with my girlfriend too, is we watched What, Make Happy, and then Inside.
Yeah, I feel like you don't really need to watch the first one, maybe, if you don't want to.
No, that was his first comedy special, and
I mean, yes, it was good, but I feel like for the Bo Burnham general mainstream lore, if you will, to get to Inside, that is, I feel like maybe just What, Make Happy, and then yeah, but they're so good that you after you watch like What, you'll want to watch the next one anyways because you're like, man, fuck, dude, that was so fucking good. And then in the background, hey babe, I just heard about Squid Game. You want to watch Squid? No, shut up, bitch.
That's not how conversations.
Go make me
a girlfriend go.
A sandwich. It's a male, by the way, who just sounds like that. And I'm telling a male to make a sandwich because you know what I am right now? I am a female because female is good. And I told my male significant other to make me a sandwich, like the fucking pig he is.
Why does nobody ask me to make them a sandwich? I want to. And okay, all right. We need this is devolving. We need to.
I'm joking. Don't worry. If you're a male or a female or etc., you can make a sandwich.
Make your own fucking sandwich.
Or tell someone to make a sandwich, but not with such an aggressive tone. And with that, I conclude with watch Bo Burnham. Watch that. Watch What, watch Make Happy, then watch Inside. And then
dude, I've seen like the stuff that he used to put on Vine and like YouTube.
Oh man, I don't know his Vines.
And
well, maybe dude, I did actually. I think I reckon. No, actually no. I feel like in my back of my mind I do recognize some of his Vines. So yeah,
dude, he was subconsciously ingrained into my brain before I even knew who he was because there were certain songs from Words that I found on YouTube and I was like, wow, this is really cool. And then I found out who he was, and it was just like, you know, he is such a creative genius, and I would love to sit down and talk about the music that he makes another day. But
sure, definitely.
Anywho, yeah, there's some buttons down there.
You should click them or type on them or something and check them out. Check us out. That's about it.
I got my socials. He's got his socials.
We're not social people.
Yeah. Coffee.
Those
link.
Things.
Yeah.
Patreon's still not ready yet. Still not ready yet. My bad.
Patreon might be down there at some point. If you're watching this in the future.
If it's down there already and there's some Patrons, there's some names on the screen. If not, it just means I haven't done it yet because I haven't done it yet. But yeah, that's about it. Thank you for listening again. And I will see you guys. Oh, sorry. My bad. I was being a streamer there. I will see you guys in the next episode, which is in 2 days or next week, depending on what day this goes up.
Yeah.
Later, nerds. Goodbye.
Goodbye.